Well, there's been a huge front crossing over the North Island today. Meanwhile, there's a light northeasterly airflow further south. In the South Island here in Canterbury, it's been mostly sunny, particularly warm winds coming across this afternoon, and the cloud is looking to develop later this evening. But how's Easter looking and beyond? There's so many parts of the country still in desperate need of rain, but there is those thunderstorms looming. Joining us now is our wonderful rural weather commentator, Phil Duncan, for more. Phil, over the last couple of nights, it has been unbearably humid in Canterbury, and it's just looking like it just needs to let go and rain, but it's just not getting there.
Yeah, you should come up to Auckland. It is humid. Even just right now, talking to you, it's like I'm feeling the sweat a little bit. The heat, the humidity. It's just that thick airflow, really thick air where you feel like even a small bit of work makes you get a bit of a sweat on the brow. So I can't imagine what it's like to be a real worker, actually doing physical things outside, not wearing a suit and just pressing a button for a job. So I do appreciate it. And when you look at the animated wind map we've got right here, this is why it's this humid weather coming down. If you're listening, it's a big subtropical northerly wind flow, or northerly quarter wind flow. So it's northwest for some, northerlies for others, and northeast for a few other people. That's the reason why it's warm. The South Island doesn't have much of an airflow, but the leftovers of that subtropical flow are still there, which is why Monday's been so warm. But there's a bit of a change coming for Tuesday. The temperatures drop. And to our lovely friends over in Australia, or our family over there, they've got a really different weather pattern at the moment. A huge high, smack bang over the top of Melbourne, and that's bringing in for them a southeasterly flow across the desert. And this is relevant to the listeners and viewers because our weather comes from there, and it's going very dry now for them. So we have to look for where are the next rainmakers, and really the tropics are very quiet, but the Southern Ocean is starting to look a little bit more like we're in autumn now. So that's basically where we're at the moment.
And Easter ahead for many, continuing to work through the weekend, so it doesn't feel like a long weekend. But for many going away, how are we looking, and also beyond into next week as well?
So we do have, we talked about those thunderstorms. So the thunderstorm risk, at Weather Watch and at Rural Weather, we always take a step back from the breaking news that's always on the mainstream media. I've seen 2 breaking news stories today about thunderstorms. That is crazy, because it should only be breaking news literally if the thunderstorm's happening and doing something. The forecast of a thunderstorm, that is 100% not breaking news, unless maybe you live in Antarctica where they don't get them. So, it's that sort of thing. So when you look at somewhere like Hamilton, Waikato, look at this. There's a thunderstorm risk for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That doesn't mean that there's thunderstorms non-stop for 3 days. It just means we've got those ingredients, and they're likely to bubble up here and there across various parts of Waikato. But you look at the rain graphs, they're much smaller. So that's why I wish, the mainstream news media, just once in a while, take a look at the actual forecast, because yes, there are thunderstorm risks, but the rainfall amounts very low, which means they're isolated, not for everybody. So the thunderstorm risk here, this is the map for Tuesday. Best way to look at this one, white and blue means low risk, and then you get sort of the greens and yellows, medium risk, and then you get right to the extremes in the reds and oranges. So we're dealing with greens and yellows, right in that moderate mark. That's why I'm a little bit skeptical that everyone gets the relief they need, but there is some. So as we go into Easter, it's goodbye to the thunderstorms, it's goodbye to the humidity, and hello, sou'westers, windy autumn weather. Good Friday right here, it's a windy one for many, many places. And if you're not getting the wind, if you're over here like in Hawke's Bay and Gisborne, you got the leftovers of that humid rainfall, so it might still be a bit cloudy. But then we go to Easter Sunday, and what a difference. High pressure over the top of New Zealand, so that means Saturday's looking good, Sunday's looking pretty good, especially in the east. It'll be sunny and warm, bit windy maybe on Sunday here through central New Zealand, where there might be gale force winds here and there. But really, it's not a bad forecast. Westerly winds for the rest of the country. So the west coast on Easter Sunday, the only area that's likely to get some rain. Pretty much everybody else is looking dry and settled.
Hawke's Bay certainly would take leftovers of any rain, I think, Phil. And of course, you can get more at ruralweather.co.nz. It's really interesting seeing that prediction being so high, but the reality of rain, it's really, really interesting. And I really strongly suggest you take a look at ruralweather.co.nz. Facial eczema is something we are so concerned about when it is that autumn. It's humid and with that moist temperature coming along. What's the sort of predictions coming down the line, Phil?
Yeah, exactly. So this week, classic sort of facial eczema risk. We've got this. Well, so I probably should go back to the last map, because what you see here, or even the one if we go back to the Friday, all that moisture there on Good Friday is the end of the humidity. So facial eczema is going to be spiking today, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then it eases on Thursday as the temperatures drop. So I do expect a big jump in those spore counts. And again, as we go into Easter Sunday, that's when it should be really starting to ease, because we're drying out again. So I think we'll see a spike in facial eczema this week. Potentially for places like Waikato, Taranaki, northwards, could be quite a high spike. I mean, I'm feeling the sweat, just in the humidity of the room right now with a couple of lights on me. But imagine wearing, a leather outfit or a wool outfit, you might be dealing with something else. Good news is on Sunday, as I say, big belts of dry air pressure coming through. And so while, yes, facial eczema does tick up in the next 3 or 4 days, it should ease again as we go into the long weekend, and that's the biggest positive I think I can see in the facial eczema side of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking for some cooler weather. It is Easter. Many people will be heading to the lakes through the Mackenzie Basin, and Pip Cameron kindly sent in a request for automatada, not just for the boaties, but Pip says that she constantly looks around those Kura hill ranges and is frustrated that we can see the rain coming and it never eventually hits their place. How is it looking for our place of the week for my rural weather forecast for Pip?
Well, the forecast is not looking overly wet at the moment. The only real day with rain, there are two of them. Wednesday, just a few showers coming through, and again on Friday, a few showers coming through. We've got two cold fronts coming through this week, although if you look at the temperatures, you don't really see it reflected too much, but you sort of do. So let's take a look at today, Monday. 26 was the high. By the time this goes to air, it might have been a degree or two even higher than that potentially, but 26 was the high. Drops down to 19 on Tuesday and stays that way till the end of the week. And Good Friday, like I say, that big southwest change blows up the country. For those sort of places inland in Mackenzie, I mean, they get a couple of showers that brush over from the west coast. That's where the rain is. But the further east you go into Canterbury, the drier it gets. So apart from a couple of showers, it's not too bad. But I think it's this part here. The overnight low, look at that, 4 degrees. I mean, come on. So, tonight's 11. Good Friday night, 4 degrees. So depending on however you celebrate Easter, you might find that the alcoholic drink might warm you up a little bit with the 4 degrees, because otherwise it's going to be a cold weekend. But it warms back up to 9 on Saturday, and you just can't quite see it, or maybe you can, but the 20 degrees there and an overnight low of 10 on Sunday and sunny shows those westerlies we just showed you on that map back here. That's the warm weather coming in on Easter Sunday. So Good Friday's a cold one. Good Friday night, Saturday morning, that's cold. And you might be thinking, ugh. But then you get into the weekend, warms up, dries out, other than Southland.
It's funny, actually, Phil, I was doing a little bit of house spring cleaning after the very busy March, and getting all those winter woolies back out, thinking, I can't wait to wear you again. I just want it to be cold. I'm sick of the heat, and I'm sure there's so many people.
It's this weekend, daylight saving finishes on Sunday. And I always say to people, the best thing about daylight saving ending is that Sunday, this one coming up, is 25 hours long. So that's 1 extra hour. You don't have to do whatever you've got to do, so there's a positive. But I'm with you, and I'm like a parent. I love every season equally. It's like, asking which kid do you love most? There might be one, but I'm not going to say it. So I like all 4 seasons equally. And one of the things I love about this time of the year is I actually like the shorter days. I like the dark evenings and the sort of longer nights. That's my world that I live in, but I don't farm, so that's my weather forecasting point of view.
Yeah, and autumn certainly definitely has its challenges as the season turns and is so interchangeable. So please, if you are struggling with it, there is a lot of places that you can reach out to get help, particularly around feed support as well, and make sure to reach out to the Rural Support Trust just as much. Weather is something that plays a huge role on our mental health and ability to make very important decisions at this time of year. Thank you so much. Phil Duncan there from Rural Weather. Check it out, ruralweather.co.nz.
Oh, nice boots.
Yeah, thanks. They're new.
Ben, you alright?
Oh, yeah, sorry, mate. Just meerkatting pretty hard, eh? Yeah, I just said to myself, Ben, you work hard, you deserve new boots.